Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video we are going to be taking a look at Main Stage 2022, the final open major of the year. This tournament was unreal. It was so stacked for both Melee and Ultimate, a super major for both. In Melee we had Mega win the whole thing, IBDW second, and AMSA in third, so shoutouts to all of them. They had amazing runs. But in Ultimate, which is what we're going to be focusing on, we had Spargo taking the whole thing, Tweak in second, Big D in third, Light in fourth, Krama and Apollo Kage in fifth, Desmona and Luis in seventh. Ninth place was Onin, Meister, Ouch, and Shag, and 13th was Cola, Shutone, Chase, and T. So this is crazy stack from this. Then we get into 17th as well. But I want to go over my predictions because for at least the top 13, like, dude, day 3, I was doing well. I got Big D Kurama wrong, and every other set I got right. So, hey, I'm farming. And then, for grands or like top 8, I didn't do as well. I had Desmona Luis in 7th. I had I had Big D and Spargo in 5th. I had Light and Spargo in 5th. I had Big D 4th, Apollo Kage 3rd, and Kurama 2nd. Tweak win the whole thing. So I did not good per se because I only got the bottom 2 right. But hey, you can't always be a winner. But this bracket was crazy. I think the most impressive run here is, Spargo's run is just very hype. It's his first open major since low tide, I think, because the Invitational was closed, Summit was closed, and Ludwig's was closed. They're all Invitationals. So Spargo, and he had a tough bracket as well, by the way, because I don't think there was any major DQs of this tournament. Like, there was a couple, but nothing crazy. So he had a set against Demon, which he had to switch to Aegis to, which was very, very close. And then he had a set against Nico, which he did pretty well in. Set against Cosmos, which was kind of close, but he handled it fairly well. Very good set against Meister. Meister gave a pretty good fight there. And then top 8, he lost to Tweak 3-0, beat Kurama 3-1 pretty convincingly, at least in contrast to their Ludwig set. So the adaptation there, very good. Beat Light 3-1, also again, fairly convincingly, except for game 4. Even though actually game 4 was all the games were actually pretty close, but he just he looks like he's in the lead in almost every set he's playing. He kind of bought Big D, but also that's that's Cloud Ices. Like, what can you expect? And then a game 10 set with Tweak, barely closed it out. The last game was a little bit of watch, but every other game was incredibly close. Just a phenomenal set overall. They both played amazing. Tweak as well, showing that consistency again. Super sick to say or to see. That's 2 majors in a row where he got in grand finals. Barely didn't close this one out. He should have had game 4 in the reset. Honestly, he just barely didn't get it. Tweak is good. He's really, really good. He beat Big D with Sephiroth, by the way, which it hurts my heart that the Sephiroth worked, because you know me, but it worked out. So the secondary worked, which is good at least. He got over that matchup from Ludwig's as well, and then he also beat Ouch, and I think he had a really good day 2 as well. He beat Chag and Enhanced PV. Chag Tweak was one of the best sets I've ever seen Tweak play. He played absolutely unreal in that set. It was actually crazy. And before we get into a couple other players, I just want to mention that there was 6 or 5 snakes in top 32 or top 64 and 5 Palutinas, which is crazy. That's not something you see all the time. And honestly, really unlucky for the snake players because one of Snake's worst matchups is Palutena, and it feels like all the snake players got eliminated by Palutena. MVD got out by Chag, even though he did avenge Shogun, who got out by Quinn by beating Quinn. Kronos got out by Chase. I think I don't know who AC lost to. AC lost again. Okay, I think AC was also using a decent amount of Meta Knight as well. And then there's another snake that I don't know where they are, but a lot of Palutenas took out a lot of snake players, unfortunate. And also, Palos just did really well this tournament. We had Quinn in 25th, we had Chag in Chase in 13th, Chag in 9th, and Luis in 7th. Luis was crazy this tournament. He had one of the best sets of the tournament against Ouch. His clutch was unreal. He kind of bopped Shuton, honestly. He just looked really, really strong. He had a really, really good set with Osimo. That set was incredible, and an amazing set with Cole as well. In terms of hype sets on average this tournament, it was definitely Luis. He had a nail biter with Colorado. He had a really good set with Vendetta. Shouts to Vendetta as well, beating Quandale. Luis was absolutely unreal this tournament. So sad he didn't get the Summit spot. He was so close, just like he was at Summit 4, where he barely didn't get in through a nomination. I don't imagine he campaigns again, which is unfortunate, but still, huge shout out to Luis. He is absolutely amazing. And one of the biggest upsets of the tournament was Desmona over Riddles. And Riddles did unfortunately also lose to Light in losers, because that's how stacked this tournament was. Light got upset by Big D as well. But before Riddles did lose, even though he got 17th place, which isn't great, he did beat Mello. He sent DQ'd against him, and he beat Lemon. Seb was not having it. He said, I'm fighting Riddles and losers? That's not happening. Also, Glug. Glug got a really big upset over, I think, Black Twins? if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he beat Black Twins, which is actually pretty big. Like Black Twins is incredible. So shout outs to Glug as well. He is very, very good doing it with Donkey Kong. I don't know why Donkey. We're in a meta where Donkey Kong and Ice Climbers are doing well. Nothing makes sense. But we have Big D over Light as well, and Gak. Like Big D, by the way, didn't drop a game up until winners quarters, I believe, which is kind of unreal. So he beat Mind. He almost lost to, I think it was a hero player, or he almost lost a game to a hero player, and they popped off too early, which is like the taboo thing of Smash. Unfortunately, got clipped on. It happens. But then Big D made the run, beating Light again. Very impressive. Like that's definitely a bracket. Like I think Light was tweeting on Twitter that he's gonna pick up a secondary for that matchup, which is crazy. Like Light is he is Fox, so maybe he sticks it out. Maybe he picks up a secondary. I don't know who he would pick up for that matchup. I know Mia was saying Game and Watch, which is very funny, but we'll see. But Big D right now, he's looking to be poised for like a top 20 player this season. Like he has been unreal recently. Second at Gommel, ninth at Ludwig's, the third here. I think he had a pretty other or a good run where he got like 13th or something as well. Like Big D is unreal. And then he 3-0'd Kurama, 3-1 to Paulo Kage in Snake Ice Climbers, which should not happen. Let me get this clear. Apollo Kage is amazing. Big D is amazing. That shouldn't have happened. I don't know what magic, what devil Big D promised his soul to, but that is crazy. Beat Tweaks Diddy, like kind of bopped the Twitty, and then he did, or the Diddy, and then he did get rocked a little bit by Sephiroth, but again, he shouldn't be winning that. Like there's matchups that Ice Climbers should not be winning, and Big D is consistently winning one or two. So that huge shout out to Big D, Apollo Kage as well. He had a really good run this tournament, just like proving he is like the up and comer player. Because the bracket for those ones, like, or at least for top 8 was weird. Because on one half you have like Kurama, Big D, and Apollo Kage, who are all like up and comers. Like, well, Big D and Kurama have kind of been there for a while, and then Apollo Kage's been there for a bit this year as well. But they're all like they were not doing this well before, and now they're kind of like super top players here in the scene. And then you have like these more like veteran top 10 players everyone's more familiar with, like Spargo, Light, Tweak as well, like just a very interesting dynamic in the top 8. And Apollo Kage had to be, I think Shootone was his biggest upset to, like, I was saying, he gets his win, and he got his win over Shootone, and he qualified for Summit. For the Summit spots, by the way, went to Light, they went to Kurama, they went to Spargo, Tweak, Big D, Apollo Kage, and I think that's all 6. Yeah, Spargo, Kurama, Apollo Kage, Light, Big D, and Tweak. So that's a pretty interesting summit. People that didn't get it, that I think were poised to get it. I mean, T getting 13th here is not a great placement for him, but I think a lot of people expected him to get it. Onin as well. I think a lot of people had him getting it. And then probably Riddles would be the other biggest, like just upset terms. Like people thought he would get it. So I don't know if any of those players get invited. I think Riddles probably has the highest chance to get invited. Riddles or T, maybe both of them honestly, because like Leo Akala are your shoo-ins. I don't know if you invite Riddles over because I think you want to get Proto back to see if he defends his title, but like, hey, maybe Proto doesn't want to travel. He hasn't been here for a while. And then I do think you get Riddles and T honestly over Glutony just because they have been doing so well. Gluto has also been doing well, but we haven't seen him in the US for a little bit unfortunately, and he hasn't really won much in France. Whereas Riddles won Big House, T's won like 30 things in like 30 regions, so it's going to be interesting to see who gets those final like 4 summit spots. And now let's stop avoiding it. Desmona. Desmona had by far the most impressive run of the tournament. I think this is his first ever major. He was here because of our Arcadian, because the Arcadian was also held at Summit. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically just like, okay, this is the bracket for people that are not ranked. Only unranked players can make it. You have to qualify through like online and stuff. And Desmona got a flight out here to the Arcadian, $15,000 for the winner. By the way, I think Chase won that, so shouts to him. But yeah, Desmona had the run. He beat Riddles, as we said earlier, and then he also beat, to get to Apollo Kage, he beat Asimo, and he beat Zenodo. Like, just so good. Desmona is unreal. He did it with Steve, by the way, just to mention, and he also beat Chag as well. So, is this a new top C player? Yes, I think he definitely can replicate this. He's just like really strong, and it wasn't like he was doing any insane combos as well. He was just a neutral Steve player, which is fairly interesting. I hope to see more of him in the future because he's absolutely incredible. Like for your first tournament to get 7th place, get like multiple wins on like top 20 players is just absolutely unreal. Good to see Chag doing well as well. He hasn't had a great I mean, he's been doing fine, but we just haven't seen it in NA for a little bit yet. I guess he hasn't really been going to as much NA stuff. I would say people are probably surprised by Onin's run because he got upset on day 1 by I forget who. He got upset on day 1 by Meister in a reverse 3-0. By the way, that set That set was crazy. That was Meister played that on Real, and Meister beat MVD before that as well. And then Onan beat Shogun, did lose to Meister, and again a very very close set. But then he beat Enhanced PV in an also incredibly close set to get out into A2. Then he beat T as well, knocking T out at 13th, which is another underperformance from T in NA. Seems like he's been struggling here a bit, but also like he won Crown and then got two like not like amazing performances. And 13th here isn't that bad anyway. Like he got a Cosmos win, he probably got one or two other good ones as well. Like it's not the end of the world. And then his set versus Kurama, like Kurama figured that match out. Kurama beat Onan and then washed Desmona. Like it was Krom good at the Steve match now. He lost to Aquila and he said that is never happening again. And obviously Aquila is a bit ahead of Onan and Desmona, but he looked so strong this tournament. Kurama, again, getting that summer slot, I think is so hype. Really, really happy for him. And he's been on a tear recently. Losing to Big D is it's like weird because it's like I feel like Big D shouldn't be beating these people, but against the brawlers, like Ice Climbers looks good, which hurts my heart to say because Ice Climbers should not be good. Like it's please don't make this another top 2 that we have to worry about. But Kurama did lose that, and then he beat Onan, he beat Desmona to get into top 8, and then or to get his summit spot, and then did lose to Spargo in the run back. Spargo was just playing unreal this tournament. Like he was playing so good. It was actually insane. And then Kurama also beat Kolo though in a very good set, except game 4 was kind of unfortunate. And then he had a Luis Kolo was the best of the tournament by the way. And then he had a very good set versus Vendetta as well. Is there any other? Because there's like I'm not gonna be able to cover everyone here. Unfortunately, Monty had a really good run though. Shouts to him. He beat Gact. He beat Doorstop. He had a really good set versus Light as well. I'm not gonna be able to cover everyone. Unfortunately, I think he also beat Andre. But I think those are like all the super big ones I want to cover right now. Shutone got upset by Luis and I think it was Apollo Kage. Yeah, we said that. Yeah, I think that's gonna be all the sets that we talk about because I got a lot of sets that I gotta mention that were like really good. Yeah, so that is all the things we're going to talk about. If I left out your favorite top player, please let me know down below. Like, I wish I could cover them all. I just can't. We don't have enough time. But this tournament was like, there were so many just amazing players here. So if you want to let me know how I think your player did in both ults and melee as well, I'll be for sure to tell you. But here's my Google Doc of sets of the tournament you should watch. I don't know why that's here. I already showed you that. So, we have a Luis Asimo, T Kronos, Kolo Luis, Ouch Zamba, Shuto no Falakage, Cosmos T, Meister Onan, MVD Quinn, MVD Chegg, Tweak Chegg was one of the best sets of the tournament. Luis Kola was the best set of the tournament, and Kurama Onan best set of the tournament. Those are like your top 3. Ouch Luis, Kola Light, Apollo Kage Desmona, Big D versus Kurama, Shutone Luis, and then you'll notice that it kind of stops on day 2 because what happened is or day 3 is I just started writing down every single set that happened because they were all just amazing. So if you have time, this is a top 3 tournament of the year easily, including summits and Ludwig Invitational. You need to watch some of these sets. They are incredible. The level of play is insane. Everyone's playing so good, and the character diversity is really good as well. I think people are like, they're kind of tired of the Steve meta, the Rob meta, Kazuya. We didn't really have much of that this tournament. I think we only had 3 Steves in top 64 in Desmona, Onan, and Kwandale. Maybe we had 1 or 2 more, and then Robs we had basically only Zamba, who got upset by Ouch, who's like also shouts to Ouch. He's just absolutely crazy. He had a banger set with Luis. I think I mentioned that as well. And then Zamba also lost to who did he lose to? He lost to T. That just sucks, honestly. I just feel bad. That is really rough. But yeah, it was an insane tournament. I'm not gonna be able to mention everyone. Like I didn't mention Ken that much at all. I didn't mention Cairo, Jadizzle. I predicted, by the way, Andric and Srix to overperform their seeds, and I think Srix either placed his seed or underperformed it by 1. And then same thing with Andric as well. It was like, hey, unfortunate, can't always get it right. But yeah. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Be sure to sub, all yada yada. Again, if I left out your favorite top player, please let me know down below. I'll be sure to go over just how the run was because I just talking about this tournament was really fun because it was just so good. And yeah, be sure to sub, all yada yada, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye bye.